Sure, it's basically e-busking, but I'd like to think I'm better than the guy on your street corner playing a guitar that only knows 3 chords. Toss some money in my virtual hat at patreon.com/doseofbuckley. You've all heard the expression, opinions are like assholes. Everyone's got one and they all stink, right? Do you think that somewhere there's someone who thinks that's ableist? Like, I know a guy who was born without an asshole, so this is insensitive. Not everyone has one. You should delete this. I guarantee that person exists somewhere on the internet. This is an absolutely exhausting place. But I like to think of it a different way. Opinions are like personal possessions. Everyone's got a bunch of them, most of them are worthless, but that doesn't stop certain people from sharing them online as if everyone else really wants to see them. I should know, I've done it at least 399 times. But when I share my opinions with you, I'm doing so to be entertaining, so we can all share and laugh about what's going on in the world, because that's all you can do sometimes. But I don't expect my opinions to change anything, nor do I expect them to represent what everyone thinks. But, thanks to what I'd rather call outrage culture instead of cancel culture, there are too many people out there who truly believe that the things they say should lead to change. People think that if they call someone or something out, that should lead to consequences every time. But if you don't mind, I'd like to share an opinion with you today. The loudmouths who spend their time on Twitter getting upset about things are a very small minority. And I felt that the best way to illustrate that is with the new show, Dahmer, Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, on Netflix. Is that seriously its full name? Anyway, a lot of people are upset about it on Twitter for numerous reasons. Reason number 1, of course, being there are people who get upset about everything on Twitter. First, I guess, if you don't know, and spoiler alert for the show, Jeffrey Dahmer murdered and cannibalized, yes, 17 boys and men between 1978 and 1991. So, we got some tweets for you. Bro, NGL, this Jeffrey Dahmer story is not right. They went way into detail with this shit for it to be a televised show. It's okay to address these occurrences to bring knowledge to the world, but make it a series and exploit these deaths and families who lost? Not right. Thumbs down emoji. Raise your hand if you don't think it's appropriate to exploit the Jeffrey Dahmer victims for profit on Netflix, the majority of whom were queer people of color. 15 hand raise emojis. The Jeffrey Dahmer series shows how desensitized people have become now, and it's fucking disgusting. What the fuck do you mean that I just saw a TikTok that said, "Hear me out," on a video of the actual Jeffrey Dahmer, 5 question marks? Y'all are so disgusting. This Dahmer series is repulsive and gross. I literally do not understand why everyone loves it so much. Just search Dahmer and the words exploit or disgusting or gross, you'll find a ton of tweets like this, and it probably doesn't even scratch the surface of people complaining. But here's the thing. This is not a representation of actual public opinion about the show. It's just not. You know how I know that? Because it's the most popular show on Netflix. Over 299 million hours viewed in its second week on the streaming service, number 1 for that week, and it's not even close. And number 9 on their all-time list with nearly 500 million hours viewed in total. These are the only numbers that matter. Far more people are watching it and being entertained, educated, enticed, whatever by it, than are complaining about it. But that doesn't stop news sites from writing shit like this. Dahmer. Monster, the Jeffrey Dahmer story, garners Netflix its biggest rating since Stranger Things, despite disgusted feedback. Now, this is from the Daily Mail, so I'm being generous in calling it news, but the despite disgusted feedback is the part that gets me. Because this tells me that people truly believe that the discourse on Twitter is remotely representative of what real people think. Like, oh, can you believe that even though everyone on Twitter thinks this is a bad show that shouldn't exist, it does and it's doing numbers? Yeah, I can. One website claims that Twitter has 238 million daily active users and 83.4 million US active Twitter users. I don't know if I believe that number. We know Elon doesn't. But let's pretend it's real. That would mean 25% of the US population is on Twitter. Of that, how many people are tweeting? Let's be really generous here. let's say 100,000 Americans tweeted that the show was gross and disgusting and exploitative, that would be 0.1% of the US Twitter population and 0.03% of the US population in total. Meanwhile, millions of Americans watched the show and didn't run to Twitter to express their opinion about it because they're normal media consumers who watch things, say, "Oh, neat, that was a thing," and then move on with their lives. None of this shit on Twitter matters. Seriously, it doesn't. It's irrelevant noise and fodder for me to make fun of. Yeah, they need to remove Dahmer from Netflix ASAP and act like this show never existed. Also, since I'm dropping Twitter bombs today, the Dahmer show is extremely problematic and Netflix should remove it. I deck why it was made. Because people like this shit. It's as if every one of these people are acting like true crime podcasts aren't among the most popular forms of entertainment right now. You will literally never convince me that Ryan Murphy, creator of Dahmer for Netflix, was attempting to shed light on racism or homophobia or show the perspective of the victims or do anything other than collect a profit when the families of Dahmer's victims were not consulted at any point during filming. Do all these other podcasts do that? Serial Killers, Canadian True Crime, Serial, Crime Junkie, Scotland Yard Confidential, True Crime with Kendall Ray, Deadly Nightmares. These are all in the top 100 of Spotify's podcasts. They all consult with every victim first and pay them? Something called True Crime Obsessed is the most subscribed to thing on Patreon, making money off the stories they're telling. And all of these podcasts, I bet they have sponsors. What's up, my little slaughter sluts? Today we're going to tell you about the Saskatoon Strangler, who choked the life out of 300 hobos between 1945 and 1972, using the exact same belt his father used to whip him with. But first, a word from our sponsor, ZipRecruiter. But then you have this person who's like, you can literally watch any other Dahmer-centric media that doesn't exploit trauma, like so many other documentaries and podcasts. So this person's not even upset that Dahmer's story is being told. It's that Netflix is making money off it instead of some woman in her basement. In fact, people are so upset about this, they're going after things that reference Dahmer years ago. Katy Perry slammed over Jeffrey Dahmer lyrics in Dark Horse. The song's 9 years old, and you got goobers like this who, just a couple weeks ago, tweeted that Katy needs to apologize for a reference from 9 years ago that she doesn't even say. Juicy J says in the song, "She'll eat your heart out like Jeffrey Dahmer." But imagine being so self-important. Like, this person typed that, truly believing that Katy Perry should apologize because he says so. Some nobody on Twitter. And then you have the people getting their panties in a wad about hypothetical situations that haven't happened yet. The fact that people will dress up as Dahmer this Halloween is disgusting, bruh. And nipping this in the bud now. If you dress up as Jeffrey Dahmer for Halloween, you are a truly disgusting person. And if I see you in that costume, it's on sight. So it's disgusting to dress up as a serial killer, not disgusting to threaten violence over it. Of course, they're all hypocrites. Why wouldn't they be? As always, you don't like something? Don't watch it. Does it suck that the families of their victims have to be reminded of this constantly? Sure, but that's not going away. Not like they had completely blocked the memory from their minds, then they turn on Netflix because, ooh, new season of Floor is Lava. Can't wait to watch that. And then, bam, there's the dude that played Quicksilver in some pedo glasses and they go, oh no, it's all coming back to me. Are the people that like this type of entertainment a little sick? Sure. I think we all are in our own ways, morbidly curious about some macabre shit. But we all need to stop pretending these Twitter complainers represent any sort of majority. This show isn't succeeding despite the backlash. It's succeeding, and there's a small group of people on Twitter that are upset about it. So, listen everyone. I know it bites, and this may be tough to swallow, but remember, you're welcome to all the bloody opinions you want, as long as you understand they're toothless. Chew on that the next time you're whining on Twitter that someone made something you don't agree with.